Yes, sir. Okay. So, good morning once again to everybody. So, today we are going to have this ninth technical session of our international conference, and on the theme that is the age of digital transformation, impact of emerging technologies in marketing. Now, today, we are having for this technical session Professor Dr. Anil Maheshwari as the expert, the chair for this technical session. And now it's a great pleasure for me to introduce Professor Maheshwari. I would like to say that Professor Maheshwari is a professor of management and director of MBA in Information Systems at Maharishi International University in Fairland, Iowa, USA. Sir teaches courses in data analytics, strategic management, leadership, marketing, and others. His research has been published in Creativity Research Journal, Family Business Review, and other scholarly journals. He has also presented at Academy of Management, International Conference on Information Systems, National Teachers Congress, and other major conferences. He is the author of a dozen of books on technology, management, and spirituality, including Data Analytics, Made Accessible, and a global bestseller that has also been published by McGraw-Hill. He has 20 years of IT experience, industry experience, including 9 years in leadership roles at IBM, Austin, Texas. He has been a professor at the University of Cincinnati, City University, New York, University of Illinois, and many other universities. He has a BTech degree that he has earned from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, in electrical engineering, and an MBA from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. And more than that, PhD in management from Case Western Reserve University, Cleveland, Ohio. He is a practitioner of transcendental meditation, TM and TM Siddhi techniques. That is a higher version of this meditation. He has been at MIU since 2012 and earned the prestigious Maharishi Award in 2015. He lives in Vedic City and he blogs on Blissful Living. Sir, today I would like to inform you that we are on record or on our track. We are having 5 presenters in this technical session. And sir, with your due permission, I would like to start this technical session. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dubey.
And sir, before you proceed, I would like to request your presentation and your direction and your guidance to this technical session.
Right.
So I'm inviting you, sir.
Thank you very much. So are you able to see my chart right now? With
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
good.
There.
Okay, good. So I'm going to just forward the. So first of all, this is. Can you see this next chart? I just want to make sure you can see this, right? Which shows the topic and the list of universities, etc. And that list of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So welcome to the conference. Welcome to this track on personalized marketing, targeted marketing using data analytics, right? This is allows you to zero in. So we have 6 papers. I'll begin. I will talk about consciousness-based marketing, how marketing is going to evolve. And then we have 5 specific papers on specific aspects of marketing, on advertising, on consumer perceptions, and structured data, and then creating a scale, and then some research on the credit card usage using data. So these are the 5 different sessions. And I'm at the Maharishi International University, as you see at the bottom. So we will begin, and we will try to make it a lot of fun and learning session. And we will try to come out with some lessons. So when we present, we want to give somebody the wholeness of what we are presenting and then also leave with some particular lesson. So first of all, let's begin with the perennial wisdom. We are all teachers, we are students, right, ourselves. So, our goal should be our purpose should be to find fulfillment in the expansion of happiness for people around us and our students. So please chant with me if you can. The Guru Mantra, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guru Namah. So all glory to our gurus who helped us gain this valuable knowledge so we can enjoy life and help our students become blissful and productive. Okay, so let's say that was the opening, and we will have 5 presenters as we saw in the beginning. I'll go first in terms of what is consciousness of marketing. What is marketing? How did marketing come? Right? So I will, the agenda is today, what is consciousness? What is marketing? What are the key emerging issues? I will in particular talk about data privacy and privacy models, and then I'll bring them together as to what might consciousness-based marketing look like moving forward. But let's see, what is marketing? Marketing came to life about 110 years ago as a way of increasing demand generation. Right? It came out as a branch of economics. So in economics, they used to think that demand is fixed. People need what they need. This much bread, this much steel, this much cars, this much this and that. And when the production was increasing during 1900s or 1910, they said, how do we sell more? Because we can produce more. So they had salespeople and would say like, okay, just give more information out. So whatever little they needed to do to create flyers, information packets, they said, okay, let's have somebody else do it, which used to be called, now we call marketing communications, Marcom, right? So then we put it out in the newspaper. So then whatever on catalog. So that was the technology of that day. And then over a period of time, radio came, and then television came. So that mass media became more and more richer and more electronic. And then, of course, in the last 15 years, we have had this idea of more digital media, social media, web-based media, where it's like Web 2.0, Web 3.0, where it's very interactive, right? You can go on Amazon and be able to see other people's reviews. So the marketing happens by other people's reviews. So that has been the evolution of marketing. And now we are in the age of digital marketing. So as the media have become much more powerful, much more focused, where is the marketer? Where is the client? What do we think of that person? So I'll talk about how marketing is evolution in a moment, but let me first talk of development of consciousness. Who are we? Right? So we need to understand first ourselves, right? Who are we? At one level, we are pure being, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Right? We are everything, unbounded. We have all the power in the world, no less than anybody else. And then at some level, we are individuals. We have a body, we have a mind, we have a way of thinking, we have a training, we have a location, we have family, we have all this money and then training and all the assets we have and the desires we have, etc. So we live at the level normally of the relative, right? Everything is different, gender, height, weight, everything is different. But at one level, we know that we are all one. So that is important to know. That is kind of becoming or returning to the way we live, right? Otherwise, people go crazy. People lose their mind. How do we develop the consciousness, the ability to be in touch with pure being, right? Talking about it will not be sufficient. So we have a theory V of model of transcendence, transcending our surface reality and being able to go to the deeper level. So let's say we are living a surface reality. Let's say we are living at the level of the surface of the ocean. When there are waves, we are like waves. We come and go. We are like bubbles. And then if we have a certain technique, of meditating, of transcending, etc., we can transcend, go straight away from the surface reality and touch the unified reality, the absolute reality, the consciousness I just showed in the first page, previous slide. At that level, it's all one, it's all silence. Think of it as going down to the depth of the ocean where it's all one. We stay there, we get calm, we get very refreshed, we get energized, we get joyful, creative, stay there for some time through whatever technique we transcend, could be meditation, could be any other. And then at that point, as our thoughts just become subtler and subtler till at the bottom, our thoughts vanish. We feel pure sense of ourselves and the total potential that we have, which is infinite. And then after some time, we come out. And then that's how when we go down and up, we are able to develop our own consciousness and we are aware of the totality of the situation, which includes us, all other people, every other thing, our relationships to everything, and how we can do the right thing for the totality. That is the idea of development of consciousness. Now let me go back to marketing, which was what I was describing up front, which is the evolution of marketing. This is kind of how marketing evolution has been described by Philip Kotler at Northwestern University. And so he says for marketing, one was product centered, sell more, which is what I described in the 1910s, 20s, and then it was increased through newspapers and radio and TV. Marketing two began more sophisticated. We didn't just talk about product, but tried to understand what the emotions of the user are, right? What messages come to them. So in 1950s, for example, there was this book called The Hidden Persuaders. We knew how to get to the emotions of the people, right? How to show happy people, how to show big sized products, how to show shiny things, how do we have, what do you call this, product ambassador. So just sell from emotions. And then from the level 3, we began to get or think of well-being of the customers. That customer is smart, customer has choices. Think of 1980s, 1990s. It just became like that, which is well-being of customers, employees, partners, because customers were able to know each other, that they were able to talk to each other, and that was happening. And the marketing 4 was the digital revolution, which is where he says, this is Phil Kotler saying, that we apply all the techniques and all the marketing insights, we find meaningful message for at the level of every individual. Right? In social media, we can just target what demographic, what interest, like in Facebook marketing, and choose what you need to look for. So this is very, very targeted message, and you can track whether somebody opened, acted, how long they saw it, and that we have targeted ads, etc. That's marketing 4.0, which is kind of what we're talking of today when we talk of digital revolution, digital marketing. Then we have the marketing 5.0, which is all about artificial intelligence, where everything will be automated. God knows what the marketer would do, because the AI would say, I want to sell bicycles to people who like to be outdoors, and it can just quickly build up a media list of 2 million people on Facebook, on Google, on this and that, and then start marketing itself. It can make you media planning, design the right ad with the right messaging, targeted message, maybe, or different targeted messages. So this is what AI would be, and it would go through multimedia, through voice, through everything else. I think at this point will also come in this idea of consciousness-based marketing, where you will see where is the human being in the marketing. When we automate everything, right? Where is the human being, both at the marketing level and the marketed to level? So at that point, you realize that a person has a sense of ownership of their life, that data about their activities belongs to them, and they should have some rights over their life. So data privacy is one of the big issues emerging in marketing for a long time, many years. It has become very big in the last few years, primarily for 2 reasons, because one is the Cambridge Analytica case. You would have probably heard about it, where this company misused data of more than 50 million Facebook users and was working with an agent, a contractor to Cambridge University in UK. They did it. And then without the consent of those individuals, they used the data to profile them and used for political advertising, etc. So that created big attention to this idea of, oh my God, what people can do with your data. And then this idea of facial recognition, right? That you can recognize people's faces. Facebook does it, and in many countries, cameras can recognize people. So where is the privacy? Can I decide where to go, or am I being watched everywhere? Of course, your cell phone helps track where you're going, but when your face is seen, it just catches you in a way that you don't care when you know that your phone is being tracked. So we'll talk in the next couple of slides about what is the concept of data ownership and what kind of data privacy regime is coming that you would need to be aware of very soon. So the idea of data privacy is the expectation the data belongs to the subject of the activity that generated the data. And I'll just take an example in a moment. And so the field of data privacy is multidimensional. It includes legal frameworks and the tools that are important in gathering and using the data and metadata about who's using where. So let's say there's a dancer who's dancing, and then another person records it with their camera, iPhone or big camera, and then they post it on YouTube so that others can share. Somebody else takes it and they post on YouTube, or the cameraman does it, whatever. Now, who does that video belong to? If it's the dancer's dance, doesn't it belong to them? Shouldn't they have right about what to do about it? Shouldn't they have the right to say whether it goes out or not, go out, disseminate it or not, and is there copyright? But the person who's recording says it's my artistic element and how to record it and make it look good. So they use skill and they would say, well, I have rights to the data. It's my data. I recorded it, so it's mine. I'm author of it because I recorded. You just danced. I just made the video. They have some rights. Then, of course, you post on Facebook, Twitter, wherever, and then they say, well, you gave it to us. We recorded it. It's in our safekeeping, and we are the ones who are in charge of keeping it. You didn't keep it with yourself. And they would use it for whatever other purposes for their business because they are storing for you. And then, of course, there's the central government and other people who would say, well, we need to know certain data for national security purpose or your safety, et cetera, et cetera. So the ownership of data can be a little fuzzy. So what is being done is that there are the data privacy models are coming. You can see them as like 3 different ways. One is the Chinese model. What is the expectation of privacy there? Nothing. State knows everything. State owns everything. There are cameras everywhere. They know what you're doing. They have this chat. It's the apps, and apps track everything that you buy, what you own, what you give, where you are, everything. On the other hand, is the US kind of model. In the US, there is, it's all commercial, right? When you sign into something, it says accept the terms of use. So it's between you and the company. Of course, it's an uneven relationship, between Google and a subscriber, or Facebook and a subscriber. You pretty much end up saying yes. How many people actually read the terms and conditions? So it's very much a commercial thing, and it's very much biased towards companies. So it's like laissez-faire, whatever the company can get away with. And then there is the European model, which is the more sensible model, which says that your safety and your data is your property and you should have some rights about it. So what is this rights? So they produced this, some of you may be aware, but some of may not be. In May 2018, this kicked in for GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So what it does is it's about 2 things. What data can be collected and stored and how it may be processed. So data should be collected only for certain reasons with the consent of the individual. And the data should be wiped away if you had certain wrong thing, or it could be changed, or you say this should not belong in my record, it should be expunged. So all of those things, and it should be stored where you live. If you live in India, it should be stored in India. If you live in Germany, it should be in Germany. And it should be retained only for a certain purpose and for certain duration. It cannot be stored forever. In other words, you have rights to what, where, how data is stored. Then also what can be processed, how it can be processed in a lawful manner, transparent manner, in the way that you approve and the purpose is clear. And then it may be maybe when certain vital interest is done, then so it has to be some clear interest shown at the public level interest, a corporate interest, because they may need to, gather data about you for their marketing purposes or their planning purposes. So you have to have very legitimate interest reasons for processing the data. And if you do it wrongly, whether the store wrongly or process for an inappropriate purpose and do wrong things like Cambridge Analytica used, then there is penalty up to 4% of global revenue of the company for each violation, which can count at billions of dollars. So they have real teeth in that law. So they want to make it real. And this is the kind of law that's becoming the standard for many countries. I had heard that it would come to India, very soon, but looks like it's getting delayed. But this will come very soon because data is key. And if India doesn't store the data about the activities of its own people and somebody else get it, then they would make use of it, and Indians will lose right. So what is consciousness-based marketing from my perspective? It is to operate from oneness. Think of the other person. Do not abuse the data. Think they are one, right? What we do to them, they would do to us, sort of just deep empathy with the audience. Care about your own brand's ethics. Your brand will develop a reputation based on what you do rightly or wrongly. Create a positive impact in the world. So do marketing in a way that improves the lives of people. In order the conscious movement, consumption movement, right? This responsible consumption, which is the idea that do not consume too much and don't waste things. And finally, embrace green sustainability, social justice, the right thing for the health of the planet. So in summary, development of consciousness is essential in the emerging world, not to the emerging world or anything like not emerging countries, but in the emerging sort of era that we're going in, we have to broaden our consciousness. Cannot be thinking of just me and my little thing. Marketing has evolved and it now raises issues of data privacy. We shared with you some data privacy models range from nothing to total totalitarian. And we talked about how GDPR is a good model for others. So it's important for marketers to understand the data privacy. And as we deal with the digital marketing and the consciousness-based marketing emerges from the empathy. Good marketing emerges between, you think of you if you were in the same on the other side and how we do market. So those are some of the things you need to understand, I think, when we do digital marketing. So thank you very much, and I will take questions. Are there any questions?
So thanks a lot, sir, for your great insightful presentation and a direction to this technical session. If there is any query from the audience, I think our Dean Madam is also, Dr. Kalyani Langasan is also. So she's also there. So,
Kalyani and I were classmates. We joined IMA together.
Hello, Anil. Welcome. Welcome to the session.
Great conference. Great conference. I'm so glad you can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any question, any comments, Kalyani, from you or for others?
So I think there are no questions from the audience.
All right. Okay, so if it's not, then let's proceed with the next presenter.
Right.
This is Garima and Seema, and they will be talking about what is the topic. Let's see. Their topic is about, where did I have it? Somewhere here. Yeah, influence of sound technology in the audio ad effectiveness, exploration of Indian millennials. So Garima, please go ahead. You have about 10 minutes to present, and then about a couple of minutes for Q&A.
Very warm morning, sir. And I would request Rakesh Dubey, sir, to make me as a presenter. I'm not able to share the presentation right now. Am I audible to you, Dubey, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, now you are presented. You can start.
Yes, sir. I will just start sharing my presentation.
Right. And at the same time, it is a request from all others in the audience that if you have a query, you can also put it in the chat box so that it could be handled by the presenter one-on-one on basis, even on their email later on.
So is it visible? Are you able to see my presentation?
I can't see your presentation.
No, your presentation, you please share it.
Oh, I have to stop sharing, I think, yeah. First, now you can share, I think, yeah.
Just give me one moment, I guess. Now, is it visible?
I can only see your...
No.
Seems to be coming.
Yes,
no,
yes.
Right,
it is.
okay, go ahead.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Please
Go ahead.
Okay.
Make it on screen share mode so we can see it clearly.
Okay. So since I am giving my presentation from Dehradun, it's a very cold outside. I would like to wish a very warm morning to one and all, to the chair, session chair as well. I myself, I'm Dr. Garima, Assistant Professor, School of Management. I'm at Unison University, along with my colleague, Ms. Seema Shukla. She is from School of Mass Communication, from Assistant Professor. I'm at Unison University. Would like to give you a very brief presentation about our paper. The title of our paper is Influence of Sound Technology on Audio Ad Effectiveness, an exploratory study of Indian millennials. So this is the flow of presentation. First, I will just put you in the backdrop that why we are actually choosing this topic, and we'll establish the need. Then I'll give you about a brief about our literature review. We'll discuss the methodology. We will present the important findings and we'll discuss those findings. And then last, we will conclude the presentation. To begin with, advertising has always been about building a liaison with the consumer on their conditions, right? I hope all the people can agree with me. And by now, it is like even more clearer that those conditions and terms are changing at an unprecedented rate, right? Emerging technology is introducing completely new and unique ways to reach consumer, as well as completely new ways to interact with them, right? And because of the advent of the technology and early adaptation of the technological and social transformation, the advertising environment is continuously evolving. Adding to this, audio marketing, when we talk about, is another add-on in the advertisers bucket. And many researchers do prove out, do confirm this thing, that the rapidly evolving and the continuous upend of the digital marketing landscape, audio marketing is going to be one of the game changer. I have some very good data to confirm and validate this statement and to prove you that why we have chosen this particular topic, right? So as you are able to see, some statistics graph is there on your screen. This research was conducted by Media Research News Model, and it is a prediction for 2026, right? So you are able to see that in 2017, it was the last year for strong streaming revenue when we are talking about few countries, right? So 2018 onwards, the streaming growth was actually, you are able to see this thing. So yeah. So as you are able to see, this is the streaming revenue and this is the annual growth rate, right? You are able to see a downfall here, but it is limited to the specific nations. When we are talking about developed nation, they already had a peak in their time. So US, UK, Sweden, Netherlands, and Australia, these nations, this was all about them. But yes, the same report talks about, this particular report talks about that longer term growth rate will be driven by the emerging markets. And it's a good news for all us, like being an Indian, we fall into this particular category. Now the longer term growth will be focused on the emerging market, Brazil, Mexico, and our own nation. And later on, it will be adopted by many other new markets like Germany and Japan. Adding to this, I would like to present few more statistics about this. So in Kerala in 2020 has also conducted one of these study. It was conducted for the fiscal year of 2019. So they cited these things. The revenue earned by the advertiser through advertising across Indian music streaming market was approximately 10 billion Indian rupees. You heard me very right. Yes, it was 10 billion Indian rupees, and this was expected to climb up to 20 billion Indian rupees by 2024, making a compound annual growth rate CAGR of 14% at an approx rate, right? This is primarily due to, what is the reason for this actually? So this is primarily because of the interest that is being diverted, and this is originating from the transformation of advertising industry, like constant optimization of the advertising process, digital media, audio media, and many other categories, streaming music, audio ad contents, various platforms like podcast, other platforms are digital radio, are adding to these compound annual growth rate, right? As you are able to see, there is a statistical figure which is I have cited in a study which was conducted by Mr. Cheru, who from, this is an article from Forbes actually, and they said that global, he referred specifically in the context of India, that the global music industry is sleeping giant and it is finally about to wake up. And it's a huge call for the emerging market to look upon it and to make the best out of this particular opportunity. You will be able to see the figure. This is a figure of 2020, and the library sizes of, I'm just giving it one simple example, keeping the timeline time in my mind. So you are able to see that 45 million.
You have 5
users.
more minutes. So 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
so.
I will just I will just go to it. So 45 million people were there, like, so I think like these evidence are enough to prove and validate our point that why we have chosen this topic, and why in the upcoming era these will be like evolving one, right? Coming to the literature review, it was like we did a thorough research. We didn't go for the SLR, but we did a literature search, and the literature search were dedicated for like these words: audio ads, music streaming, technology, sound technology. Yeah, so disappointment was there was not much literature was available, but yes, it was a good news because there is a scope to do much, right? So much of the literature which we were able to review, so the reviewer talks about that they confirms rather that sound has an energy. They are able to put an effect to stimulate the creation of visual images in the mind of the user, and they have the capacity to affect the listener's attention, attitude, memory, everything, right? And in 2018, very recent study was conducted by Ibrahim, and he was also able to illustrate that audio advertisement in which audio could be able to produce an image in the inside mind, and they are able to retain it. Yes, so this is the conclusion from LR actually. Technology and music are being intertwined more than ever before. Creating a host of experience for today's music loving audience is going to be a next game changer. This is our research gap. Much of the audio streaming space is still unsophisticated, where we fall upon, like where the need for this study is there. So it's still unsophisticated, leading to poor user engagement, and a lot of uncharted territories are there which can be explored, right? So there is multiple possibilities when we talk about technological front. So this is the purpose of our study, that we want to explore the association of emerging sound technology with the digital audio advertising landscape. Just to brief you, these are the definitions. I think like taking the time frame in the mind, I will just give the presentation, hand over the presentation to my co-author. She will just quickly brief you about the terminology part.
Thank you, Garima ma'am. This is Seema Shukla from IMS Unison University, and I'm a co-author of this paper. So I just want to explain you what is the audio ads and auditory system and auditory perception. So audio ads are basically the ads which deals with the audio. There is nothing deals with the visuals, only audios are there, and that is called your audio ads. And the auditory system is the hearing system. As a human being, what we can hear. hear and how we can hear, that will come in an auditory system. Like our ear is an auditory system, and as a human being, our limitation is like that we can hear 20 hertz to 20k hertz only. So everything, this is the game, how to hear these frequencies and how to deal with this. The next term is the auditory perception, and that is the auditory perception is that how we recognize or how we understand the sounds as a human being. It depends upon our prior experiences, and it depends upon the how we see and relate the images with this. The later on, these are the some technical things, so which I have used for the instrument or experimental things. These are the equipments like parametric equalizer, compressor, limiter. I've used that to reproduce the sound. And this is the particular image which we show the how we can hear the sound. There is a particular, when you hear anything in a room, the acoustic structure of that room is play a very important role. And here, this is a sweet spot where you can hear the proper sound. Now I want to hand over to Dr. Garima to discuss about the research methodology.
Okay, so we'll just quickly brief you, keeping the time limitation in mind. So we conducted, this is a qual study actually. The pilot was conducted to improve the survey instrument and to get the more clarity about the survey instrument. So we do send an introductory questionnaire to each participant, and we get we actually okay, let me just tell you about how the sampling was done. It was like a snowball and the purposive sampling, a mix of sampling technique was used. And then we selected 10 different images of different smartphone advertising, and then we designed the experiment. The experimentation design will be put in by the Seema ma'am. Just brief about.
Yes, we have selected 10 ads, and we have designed the own audio track, because in the market it's not available. The 5-point advertisements or 3D advertisements or stereo ads are available, but the AD ads are not available. So I have chosen some visuals, and I have designed my own tracks with the help of all the technical things and everything. And I asked the responders to hear those things and give their responses.
Okay, to add on that, my co-author is a sound technology expert, and he has worked with big media houses in Bombay, and she has all the expertise to design all the different kind of music that we have actually used. So this is a brief about RM that we have conducted. Yeah, what is our findings for this actually? So the important finding that we did a content analysis, the recorded data that we gathered from the qual study. So single existing sound scene was transformed into different one. Yes, by default, it is very obvious that we receive different result from all these things. Okay. The different versions of the same music was used for the experimentation, and it was confirmed that when we are using the music for the 3D audio track, the overall user, the recalling was reported higher in case of 3D music audio track. Okay. Sound localization was the most distinguishable sound technology feature that we were able to report through this study, whereas the timbre was the most distinguishable feature for the sound reproduction is concerned, right? So to conclude it, I think not to go with the slides actually. So yes, we do confirm with a study that the using of different sound technology is going to play a very different role on the effectiveness of the ad that a particular brand is going to use. People are more sensitive towards the different medium that you are going to use. People are actually very sensitive towards the technology that you are going to use, right? So they are nowadays, the concluded remark is that nowadays people are actually spending more time with the digital audio now that they have even before, right? It is leading to the massive shift in the audio advertising and the advertising potential of a particular brand, right? So digital audio is going to be a game changer. It is already there, and sound technology has going to play a very, very prominent role. This study confirms that what can be done in respect of the sound technology and how a particular brand can actually improve their audio ad effectiveness with this particular findings. Limitation, I'm sorry, just to add on with the limitation. So it's a qual study that is, I think, like nowadays, because we are just evolving. So this was the limitation. We wish to conduct a quant study and validate our result with the statistical finding. And we want to expand the brands also, right? Different products. Thank you so much for the patience listening. And thank you so much, Anil sir. It was like a really great listening to you also. Meditation, music, sound technology, I think like they are long way to go ahead together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Garima, Dr. Garima. It was really a great presentation.
So yeah.
Now
yeah,
over to Maheshwari sir, Dr. Maheshwari sir.
Yeah, it was good. I like the visuals. I like the way you presented, because in some ways, whatever you produce, you're marketing yourself, right? So think of it's your presentation itself is marketing. So that's very good. Your voice is very clear, and your tandem was very clear. And your message to me seemed like the sound technology is going to make a difference in terms of ad quality. So why would you said there was a gap? Was that the gap that you got to answer? I thought the gap was something more specific than that.
Yes,
what
so
was
when
the
we
gap and what did you find? Can you relate
so
that?
there are like so there are like two different categories that we can establish our gap. One was in the academic literature that we have explored, and one was with the use of the science technology, which is there existing in the industry. Okay, so you can categorize industry gap and you can categorize academic gap. Academia, I was disappointed, but I was happy also. But studies were not there seeking the use of science technology for making more effective audio ads. I was able to draw a conclusion regarding this because now this is the time. This is now the technology is evolving. Prior, the technology was not there. It is coming. It is evolving. So maybe sooner the coming days will be more about studies to be conducted for sound technology. Industry also, we read lots of blogs were there. So I presented the statistics, people were talking about sound technology. This was the gap. The technology and the audio effectiveness was not there. Why this gap was? Because the technology itself was not there. I hope I am able to make my point.
Fine. Okay, thank you. We'll probably have another round of questions if we have others wanting to say that. Thank you very much, Karima. Okay,
thank you
next, let's thank you both. Okay, so let's go to our next presentation by Tanvi and Payal on mobile phones and what is the consumer's perception towards it. Are we there? Are they here? Is Tanvi here? Is Payal here? Probably not. In which case, let's go to Indira. Indira, you were here, I thought. Yeah. Indira, are you alone here, or both all your co-authors are there? Ankit and Pramod, are you going to present?
No, sir, it's only me.
Only you. Yeah. So over to you. Make sure you are able to present. Dubeji, can you make her the presenter if not already?
Yeah, she is there.
Okay. As a presenter. The presenter, so she can share her charts. Go ahead, Indira. You're straight.
You have to share your charts, your slides, and you can start.
Sure.
Ma'am, hello.
Yeah, I'm figuring
out. Ma'am, you can see a upright arrow on your screen at the upside on your right hand, just before the leave point. You can see the leave call is there in a red color.
I have shared my presentation. Can you see my?
Fine. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay. Today my presentation is on the topic testing the impact of uncertainty, reducing reviews in the prediction of cross-domain social media pages ratings. It might sound kind of complicated. I think I still have to work on the heading of this. Yeah, and coming to me, I'm Indira Priyadarshini, and I'm a research scholar from University of Hyderabad, working under Dr. Pramod Kumar Mishra, who is an assistant professor from the School of Management Studies. So yeah, coming to the flow of presentation, this would be the flow of presentation. Can someone confirm from your side, like, am I audible enough, or should I?
इनका
फिर ये है प्रिडिक्टिंग ऑनलाइन कस्टमर रेटिंग, जैसे कि इस हमारे इसमें
जो बढ़ाइए इसको.
Go ahead, Indra. We can hear you all right. Go ahead.
Okay, fine, sir. So yeah, coming.
Just a minute. Yeah, this is the presentation. Yeah, testing. Yeah, this is the one. Okay.
नो सर, जैसे प्लस जो है वो दोनों चेंज है.
अच्छा.
ये इनका है प्रेडिक्टिंग ऑनलाइन कस्टमर रेटिंग ऑफ अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा फ्रॉम द स्ट्रक्चर्ड रिव्यूज.
लेट हर प्रेजेंट. कोई फिर होगा नहीं प्रेजेंटेशन, ये नहीं होगा.
ठीक है, तो मैं ये डाल देता हूँ ना, ये हटा के.
See, I just changed the heading because I had improved a bit on the paper. So if you want me to stick with the old,
Please,
no, ma'am,
please continue the presentation. Your time is moving on.
Yeah, ma'am, it's your platform, please.
Okay, fine. So when coming to this topic, the main basic work what I aim to do is I wanted to see like there are so many social media platforms, and when we do some purchases on those e-commerce platforms, what we usually do is we check the ratings and then reviews, and then we buy it, right? So we there are platforms which come with the product ratings and reviews, like all these Amazon, Flipkart and all. And there are also platforms which comes only with the reviews or opinions, and but not ratings, like Facebook, YouTube, Quora and all. So when we do a purchase decision, it's not necessary that a consumer just sticks only to one platform. We usually search across all these platforms, come to a conclusion, and then we do our purchase action. So my the main aim is to use all the data from the websites which has both reviews and ratings, build a model, train a model, and then try to predict a rating for all the websites, all the websites like Facebook and YouTube and all, which don't have ratings, so that to see if I can give an overall rating for a product. Okay, while doing now I explored, like, are there any prerequisite conditions I have to follow while selecting which reviews I can use to I can use to predict the ratings. So this is what all my studies about. So while doing this, there is a theory called uncertainty reduction theory. This theory talks about how one can reduce uncertainty between two complete strangers before they actually start a conversation. It is not after, it is like right before the conversation. So there are some around 14 axioms or constructs which the theory spoke about, and we will be using three constructs of those 14 to imply to our study. So the three of those 14 are: when it comes to uncertainty and information seeking, the kind of details sought during the beginning of the entry phase are the ones which demand short answers. So this explains why we need ratings. There is a study which says that while doing a purchase, like, to do the initial selection, or to shortlist a few products from a option of like a huge product menu, people usually use the ratings, and then to do the next step of purchase, they read the reviews. So the first one tells, like, to reduce the uncertainty, ratings are necessary because ratings are necessary. Second one is similarity reduces uncertainty. Why similarity? Because it reduces the necessity for explaining the types of behaviors during the beginning, which are exhibited during the beginning of the communication process. Next, uncertainty is relatively high in the beginning of the entry phase of communication and subsequently reduces as a function of time. So let us see how we use these three to identify those reviews which we can use for predicting our ratings. So yeah, as I said, a user is not confined to single source for reviews, and also it's not only users but also companies or professionals use these reviews to predict ratings, to have an idea about the market. Even if you see in the software side, many business analysts do this to do gather the functional requirements for a project. There are many ways organizations use these reviews to understand more about the customer and the product. Like as I said, there are many studies which spoke about how to predict ratings from reviews, and there are also many studies which said how uncertainty reduction theory should be used to help a consumer make a purchase decision and all. But there are almost or no studies which try to relate these both. So yeah, this study investigates some specific nature of reviews available on social media websites that would best reduce the uncertainty. Also, so when we spoke about similarity, its similarity comes under many ways. Given the data availability, similarity is also achieved by shared demographics also. So given the data availability on websites, all that we can understand is whether a user is from a particular country or not. I mean, sorry, whether a person who gave a review, the reviewer is from a particular country or not. So for now we have tried to achieve similarity by identifying a reviewer on country based. And the second one is time frame. So why time frame? Because as they said in the third one, uncertainty is relatively high in the beginning and subsequently reduces as a function of time. So based on two factors, that is location of the reviewer and the consumer and the time frame of a review, we will try to predict ratings and see if these two has any impact while predicting the ratings. So yeah we I had also tried to explore other factors, but given the limitations of the data availability, these two are seemed feasible for now. So yeah, coming to literature review, factors like reviewers identity, high reputation, review elaborateness, see, all of these are the factors which are considered useful for a review to predict ratings. These are given by Zhu and Park. Yeah, the all these the rest of the review literature review in this page are those which explain how the content on different social media websites are different from each other. Like if you see, it is almost impossible to classify reviews of high identity and reputation from Facebook, whereas it is possible from Instagram. Likewise, the reputation of a person making videos on YouTube
Indra,
depends
you
on
have
the
5 more
topic he
minutes.
covers.
Indra, you have 5 more minutes.
Sure, sir. Yeah, okay. And this literature review speaks how the content on each social media website is different from each other. If you see, it speaks about Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Quora also. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there are many studies which tells how ratings can be predicted from reviews. These are all the studies which had published articles on how they predicted ratings using this kind of on these websites. Like it can be for tourism, it can be for some product reviews and all. And yeah, as said by Nagappan and Shihab, identifying relevant reviews is a challenge. So yeah, so this is what the aim of this study is, to identify those reviews which can be used for predicting the ratings. So yeah, coming to research methodology, first one is data collection. The data collection, as I said, is based on country and time based. So coming to country, say for example, say if we have a product, say I have chosen the product, the book Secret. Okay, so to how did I identify it on country based is like, I have taken all the reviews of the Secret book from the Amazon website and considered it as US data. I had taken all the reviews of Secret book on Flipkart, which is exclusive to only India. So I had classified it as India data. And likewise, even on YouTube and Facebook, based on the name of the reviewer, I tried to identify which country that reviewer is. Likewise, time based is when we use some web scraping or web crawlers, web scraping algorithms to scrape this data from these websites, that we can also scrape it based on time. So I had tried to classify the reviews based on from 2015 to 2020 are the latest reviews, and from 2014 and above are all the past data. So what I had tried to see is, if the reviews are taken based on a particular country, are the ratings similar from the ones predicted, or is there any change if the reviews are selected based on particular country, or there is no change if all the reviews of a particular product from all the countries are same. Likewise, for time, I had tried to see if the reviews which we chosen are from the recent like last 5 years, and if it has a rating, is that rating different from the reviews we had chosen from the last one, from 2014 or above, or is there no much change? So yeah, so data collection is collected data is collected using web scraping algorithms from all these Amazon, Flipkart, YouTube, and Quora. Then data pre-processing is, here we do outlier detection and data cleaning. So after scraping the data, we have to check for all the stop words, punctuations and all. I had cleaned the data and try to detect the outliers and eliminate them, so that the data suits the model which we are developing. So now, this is this classification and model testing is the model development. So now what I had done is, I use sentiment analysis algorithm and support vector machines to classify the data. Sentiment analysis classifies a review into positive, negative, neutral words, whereas support vector machine extracts all the features and then classifies it accordingly. Then model testing and all, yeah, then after testing the model, then we use the same model for predicting the rating, and we then use the same model to test the predictions also using a t-test. So yeah, the quantitative variables and qualitative variables are explained here, like what are all the data we had extracted. As I said, we will get the review, the rating, and the date and the country of that particular review if we scrape the data. So yeah, this and all I had already explained. So so this is all the code which I had written to do the classification and what are all the variables. So a model usually takes the adjectives, number of verbs, number of adjectives, number of nouns, also the number of positive words, number of negative words, number of neutral words, and then it uses what are all the particular particular words which come in a particular rating. Say for example, if there is a sentence in a 5-star rating and we get a particular kind of words repeating more for that 5 rating, say great, good, these are the words which are coming under 5-star rating. The model make sure that it recognizes the good and great are those words which usually which come for 5-star rating. So likewise, when we try to test this model on this unstructured data, on Facebook data, it will see if a particular word has good or great coming under its review, it will try to classify it as a 5 rating. Likewise, so based on the words, based on the number of words, number of positive words, what are all those negative positive words and all, based on all this, support vector machine tries to also predict. It not only classifies, it later also predicts using it also predicts. So yeah, we had developed the model, we had trained the model using the Amazon data, because Amazon data is huge. Like we get around 20,000 reviews for a single product, for almost like the book Secret is released in 2006. So so it's a 15-year data, and we had tested the model, and
Miss
these are all the
Indira,
metrics we got.
just
Yeah.
a minute. Please see to the time constraint, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's like last 2 minutes.
Try to wind
So,
up. Yeah.
yeah, we had tested the model, and these are all the metrics we got. We had used the confusion. So the accuracy is 0.78, that is 78%. So this is pretty good for a model which deals with text, because humans are kind of unpredictable. So each metric is explained here. And these are all the predicted ratings according to this is the training data, and these are the ratings which are given by the websites, and these are the ratings which we had predicted for that product, for the reviews which are available in these websites. We had tried to do this on location based, and this is also on time based, and we had got an average. So if this is 4.4, the overall mean we got for these three is 4.49, which is quite similar, near to it, and likewise for the rest of the world. But if you see, there is a change in this 4.49 and 4.35 if we try to classify the reviews based on country. Likewise, there is a difference in the rating if we try to classify the reviews based on years. So we can, and after this we had done a t-test to check whether these results are true or not. And so yeah, even the t-test confirms that
Ma'am, the time is up. Kindly wind up.
Yeah, okay, sir, it's done. Like,
come to your conclusion.
Yeah, so there are few limitations to it, and the conclusion are, yes, if we select the reviews based on a time frame, and if we select the reviews based on based on location, the ratings which we predict are more accurate, more reliable, and more useful. So yeah, that's the conclusion.
Very good,
Yeah.
very good. Thanks for presenting. So anybody else? Anybody has any question? So I think this is a well done study.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Analytically, sort of, there's data and there's a certain model, and I saw in your brief paper also you have equation. Did you share the equation here? You had some regression model here.
Yeah, like instead of regression, I had improved the model used to support vector machine,
Right.
because it made more gave more accuracy. Yeah.
Right, right. So what are the practical implications of this research? What would it improve? What can it change for, let's say, a product marketer, right, who wants to know what is the general impression of the product out there?
Yeah, here I have given a research paper which gave all the practical implications of why companies usually use these ratings, usually use reviews to predict the ratings. As I said, say for example, in software industry, or the business analyst nowadays, instead of the other way of doing requirement gathering is they use all these reviews, and then they try to classify the reviews and try to predict the ratings based on each review, and say which particular characteristic of a product is adding more value to their product or service. So these ratings, this kind of this is one of the practical implication for this, like, to be specific. And there are other also, like for to study the market, or to understand the market as a whole, like to see if a product, how the product is performing across different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is good. A more generic kind of thinking is more like doing sentiment analysis about the product is high or low. But if you can get to this kind of rating, and in particular, if you can get to features which are driving the ratings, that can be helpful. In marketing, we say there are features customers want it, but are they willing to pay for it? Bill Gates famously used to say, I go to customers and say, which are the products you're willing to pay for? If I had this feature, it costs me money, right?
Yes.
Are you willing to pay for it? The same way with products. So if you can get the feature rating, like you said, what is the more important feature, then that just helps. Good. I keep working on it and just work with more data, more products, and read some other journal. Maybe what is a major marketing journal in India? Where would you? What's the aspirational journal in marketing in India?
There are like only specific to India. I don't know, like the ones which I aim for are Academy of Management journal.
Right. So Academy of Management gets global. It's a conference.
Yes,
But are there any journals in marketing out of?
There is one
Ahmedabad,
journal of marketing analytics is one journal which is quite suitable for this kind of papers.
Yeah. Okay, terrific. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Any question or comment for Indira? Okay, if not, then let's go to Vijay and Tanuja. I think they are from your own university, right? Vijay Jain?
Yes, sir. But
are they here?
They are not here, sir. So
okay, and I saw Aarti Jain just left. Next,
Aarti Kundan, she left. Yeah.
So that means these are the only papers that were there.
Yes, sir. Actually, there were 5 tracks, but only so others are not available right now, sir. So
does it happen often? Garima, what do you think? Does it happen like this in other conferences that people present and don't show up? Like what happened to Aarti? Why would she leave? Having joined.
So shall we go to the closer, sir? If you say.
We just close out, and there's no major closure to do. All I would say is thank you for joining. I hope you learned something. Overall, we saw different kind of papers, right? And then we saw some had more qualitative, and this one was more quantitative, and something in between. So, marketing research is all over the place. And for example, you saw what I was talking about, privacy. How what you think is non-specific to you, information posted on more running text kind of videos like Facebook, etc., can be used to extract features. Now, this is just extract feature level, but that could even be extracted to develop your own, requirements or your own impressions or feelings, and that gets into the privacy debate that I was talking about. So there are smarter ways emerging of analyzing data and then gathering more information. Anybody else wants to say anything?
So now we are coming to the end of this session. I, Dr. Rakesh Dubey from IMS Unison University itself, a coordinator of this technical session 9 of this international conference. I sincerely thank Professor Anil Maheshwari, sir, and also all the presenters of this session. With this, I'm coming to the closer of this session. Sir, I would request you to fill up the rubrics and forward it back to us, sir.
Okay. Otherwise, take the rubrics and say, whatever you want to say. You heard my comments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
करना होगा ना उसका डाउनलोड जो हुआ होगा